Hi, good morning. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am with Okan Day Temple in Miami, Florida. This morning's message is coming to you pre-recorded. I've been a little bit under the weather the last few days, but I still wanted to go ahead and get the message out to you. So let us get started. Today's topic is pathway to success. Pathway to success. What I want all of us to understand is that Olodumare wants us all to find success in life. Happiness is the goal, reaching a state of where we are satisfied and happy with all things in our life. That's what Olodumare wants for us all. Ideally, we set goals for ourselves to accomplish, that sense of completeness, that sense of happiness. A lot of times we find ourselves looking for the nicest cars, the biggest houses, all those things. Those things don't equal happiness, right? I've talked about that before. Those things are nice, but that's not the point to having happiness in life. It comes down to, feeling accomplished and being satisfied with everything that you have, like all of the good things that are coming together, right? Hopefully, you have a wonderful spouse, wonderful children, great job. The house is good for you and your family. Everything is in a place where you feel happy and satisfied. And spiritually, you are also complete because that's also part of the process with Ifa. So now, like getting to that place is what is going to be important for us, right? How do we get to that place? Setting up goals, setting up things we want to accomplish. When I was younger, the question was always, what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? What is your 15-year plan? What do you want to accomplish in this lifetime? And when you're young, it's hard. It's very difficult. Why would a 13-year-old automatically know? Some 13-year-olds may, but I know for sure at 13 I wasn't there. I'm not sure if at 18 I was there or 21, so on and so forth, right? We all find that path at different points in our life. So let's discuss a path through Ifa, right? Ashe. So the first verse I would like to discuss is Ogunda Meji. Ogunda Meji. And it goes like this. Kanrag Bon Lawo Kanrag Bon. Jaguda Lawa Jaguda. The mighty elephant is their companion in the animal kingdom. They were the Awo who cast Ifa for Orunmila when going to give support to Ori on earth. Behold, if we are fortunate enough to be wealthy in our lives, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible, not Ifa. If we're fortunate to have a good spouse in our lives, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible and not Ifa. Whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation if we have good children in our lives to Ifa. But Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible, not Ifa. If we are fortunate to have all the Ire in life, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible and not Ifa. Now, my Ori, please support me. My Ori, please make me wealthy. You are the one that makes one's issue your paramount concern. You are the one that comes to one's aid before any Orisha. Ori is the pillar of support for Nawu, not Ifa. Okay, so let's discuss that verse. Now, I know I have mentioned the term Ori a lot in the past couple of months, sermons, Ifa sermons, And it's hard to sum up Ori in just one short conversation, but I'll do my best. Uh, in simple terms, Ori is the head or top or pinnacle area of a thing or a animal, people, right? So our Ori is our head. It's at the top of our body. It contains our brain. Everything has an Ori, right? And so the Ori can also be explained as a person's destiny, their destiny that they've chosen, their internal soul, their character. There's so many different ways to explain and discuss Ori, but right now we're going to focus on Ori Ode, which is our head. Ori Ode, as I said just a moment ago, our head contains our brain. It's our brain that makes decisions about our life, about which direction we're going to go. It's our brain that makes the decision of whether we're going to go right or left, if I'm going to take this job or that job, or if I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do in my life, if I'm going to marry this particular woman, which I married, if I'm going to have children, so on and so forth. It is our Ori that makes that decision. Ifa states the obvious fact. Ifa does not make decisions for us. Ifa gives us guidance. It provides us a way to try to avoid some pitfalls. We will experience some pitfalls in life. That's part of what will happen. But Ifa is there for guidance. It is our Ori that chooses which path it will follow. Sometimes we choose wonderful paths. Sometimes we choose absolutely terrible paths. That's a part of life, right? But it's the responsibility of our Ori that will deal out our happiness, our sadness, all of the things that we experience. It's coming from our head, our Ori. So it's important to understand, especially in our practice, and you'll hear a lot of people say this, this deity owns my head. This Orisha owns my head. They support us. They support us in having a successful life. But in the end, we are responsible. It is our Ori that is responsible for decisions. When it came for me to choose the career path that I was going to go into, I chose music as a career. Right? When it came time for me to do Itefa, my Ifa initiation, it was me that made the decision to do the Itefa. It was my Ori. Right? So it's important that we know that. And Ifa states that when we find our successes, we must always remember to praise and support our Ori. Right? That's what we do. One of the wonderful things we do within the Ifa practice is to propitiate our Ori. Right? One of the songs that we sing as part of morning prayers, it's for us to hold our Ori and give thanks and let our Ori know that it's without it we don't have support. Right? It's one of the songs that we sing in our morning prayers, always giving praise to our Ori. So we must remember. Again, I don't want to harp on this too much more, but it's understanding that our Ori is responsible for the decisions we make. So now that we know that and clearly understand that, we now need to go to the place where we start making proper decisions. What is going to be the thing that we're going to work towards? Right? It is always important to have a goal for ourselves. Our goal must be realistic. It must be realistic. And that takes me to the next verse, which comes from Ejiobe. We cannot be as massive as an elephant. We cannot be as sturdy as a buffalo. No leader is as revered and as important as the Uni of Ife. No hill is as impressive as the Igbadi Hill. The Igbadi Hill is so important and so impressive that it carries another hill on top of its head and points its mouth like an elephant tusk. These were the declarations of Ifa for Oba Alade Ajitordo Segi. He consulted Ifa in order to find out if his life would be agreeable for him. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, the water that I fetched at dawn, the water that I fetched early in the morning, my destiny cannot be but cool and calm. The water that I fetched at dawn, my destiny cannot but be cool and calm. So, this is a verse that I like to reference when it comes to thinking about making plans for ourselves. When it's time that we make plans, it's absolutely important that we have realistic goals, right? You never want your goals to be so easy that you simply accomplish them in just a day or two. Sure, there are short-term goals, but I'm talking about lifetime goals here. I'm talking about the big ones, the 5, 10, 15-year plan, right? If your 15-year plan is accomplished in a day, one, you are blessed. That's wonderful. But that's not the case for all of us, right? And then when you make your plan, you also don't want it to be so grand that it is virtually impossible, right? I can say to myself, I want to be a horse jockey. I want to get on one of those horses and ride. Everybody, I'm sure, who's listening is saying, go ahead, Baba, you can do it. Well, those of you that know me, I'm 6'2", quite a tall gentleman, and I think I'm a little bit over the required weight limit. Most jockeys, average size, 5 feet to about 5 feet 10 inches, right? And they weigh just probably about as much as my leg, right? So if I decided to go out and start doing that, I'm positive nobody would hire me because I'd simply be slowing down their horse. That's not the name of the game, right? So for me, that's an unrealistic goal. Fun idea, but not something that I would consider putting in my path. Now, some of you say, well, obviously that's you're stretching it too far. Obviously, I don't want to be riding a horse. I don't want to be doing something absolutely out of my range of ability to accomplish. You know, tell us about something real. Well, sure. If I take one of my biggest goals that I have for myself right now, this is my grand spiritual goal, is to, at one point in my lifetime, get to a point where I am a fully qualified and established Babalawo in the eyes of my elders, right? That takes quite a bit of time. For me, understanding the importance of Ifa and how it can be used to help people and how it can be used to teach people the culture, Ifa is grand. Right. So my 15-year plan is to get to the point where I am fully qualified. That's where I'd like to be in 15 years. So I've set my goal. I know this goal is attainable, but it requires quite a bit of work on my end. Right? It requires study. It requires patience. It requires communication with elders. It requires humility. It requires quite a bit. All things that are difficult to do, right? But I feel as if I can apply those things to all aspects of my life. It makes things just a little bit easier. Even in my work and my career, my job, if I'm a little bit more patient, if I show a little bit more humility, if I take my time and try not to rush through the process, right? Understanding step by step that each day is progress, each day I'm trying to accomplish something new, then, I can see my goal being very, very attainable. right? So I've started in the beginning, I want to set my goal. I decided what goal I wanted to set. I set my goal. Now it's realistic. What do I do next? Great question. So the next thing that I do is, again, for me, this is a big spiritual goal. I go to Ifa, I go to the deities. And I say, well, why do you do that? Because that's the purpose of Ifa. It is to give us guidance, it is to give us support, to help us stay on the path and not finding ourselves drifting, right? Let's go to the verse of from Ejiobe. Ejiobe goes, everything is in your hands. This was the Ifa cast for the Akapo when lamenting his inability to secure any ire in life, any blessings in life. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, everything is in your hands. If I come into this world, I will be blessed with wealth. Everything is in your hands. If I come to this world, I will be blessed with spouse. Everything is in your hands. If I come into this world, I will be blessed with children. Everything is in your hands. If I come into this world, I will be blessed with magnificent property. Everything is in your hands. If I come into this world, I will be blessed with all the array of life. Right? This Odu Ifa, this verse, is set up like a prayer. The Akapo, the student, the practitioner of Ifa, is praying to Ifa, is praying to Olodumare, to the deities. And he is asking for support, and he's placing his prayers in the hands of the deities for support. Right? Now I'm going to ask you a question. He is praying. The Akapo is praying. The Akapo is asking the deities for help. Does anyone think that the Akapo will stop studying? Does anyone think that the Akapo will leave the practice and go out and have fun? Does anyone think that the Akapo will push the idea of family and all these other things to the side and expect it to automatically happen? Right? The obvious answer is no, the Akapo won't. Right? It is with the hard work, with prayers, that we have the support of Ifa and the deities. That's how it works. Hard work and our prayers. Right? We're asking for the assistance so that we do not meet challenges on the road. And if we meet the challenges on the road, that we are able to get past them to continue. That's the importance of prayer. All of these different faiths, prayer is key. Right? So we keep the idea of prayer going. We keep the idea of leaning on Ifa and the deities for support consistently. Now what's next? We've selected our goal. We've made a realistic goal. We've now done the process of prayers to the deities for support. Next, we need to have hope. Let's go to another verse of Ejiobe. The dead trap fell and hit its chest on the ground. This was the declaration of Ifa to Yeye Aletile when she was weeping in lamentation of her inability to succeed in life. She was advised to offer a bow. Before long, not too far, all Ire came trooping in. The night of wealth has not yet fallen for an owl. There is hope. There is future. Let no one lose hope in Edu. There is hope. There is future. The night of all Ire has not yet fallen on an owl. There is hope. There is future. Let no one lose hope in Edu. There is hope. There is future. So let us look at this story of a woman named Yeye Aletile. She was a businesswoman who was rather successful. Uh, Her challenge was that she was missing many of the important things in life. She wanted to have a spouse, she wanted to have a children, she wanted to find total happiness. Not just happiness in the business, but happiness in everything. So she goes to the Babalao to have Ifa cast. And Babalao says that, uh, you know, you're working hard in everything that you're doing, but the one thing you must do is realize that your Ire is very, very close. Your Ire is right around the corner that you do not need to stop. You need to keep going forward, offer a bow for the support of the deities so that you have their support to help you find your partner and to keep developing your business even more. You see, Yeye Ale Tile was in a place where she was sad. She was ready to give up. She was considering hurting herself, right? Depression can be a big thing. That's a major challenge when someone loses hope. They find themselves depressed, right? When someone loses hope, they want to give up. They don't want other things uh, around them anymore. Nothing matters. So Ifa tells us one of the most important things that we need to always do is to maintain hope that things will get better. Because if we don't, we'll find ourselves spiraling into that place of like, oh goodness, what am I doing this for? Why am I bothering living this life? Does anybody even love me? Should I even stay here? Those are challenging questions to have. And Ifa does not want that for us, right? So we must maintain hope. It can look different for many, many people. I think one of the most important things for myself when it comes to maintaining hope, it happens in so many different ways. One, um, one of the best things that happens to me on a weekly basis is the ability to speak with other Ifa people, to share the space, the the commonality, the discussion, whether it's in person, whether it's online, right? That for me is important. That's so, so important. It keeps me going, right? For example, many of you may or may not know my Baba Ifa is in California. So being able to meet with him and go through my studies and practice, oh, that gives me hope. I have brothers and elders here in Miami uh, that I study drums with, people that I work with, people that I talk Ifa with in person. We come to each other's houses. That is important. That gives me hope. I discuss Ifa with my family. If you've seen any of our pages, I try to sing songs for my kids, right? I try to include them. That gives me hope. There are so many different ways that each of us can find hope in our lives, but we have to identify those ways and do those things, right? Find your community, find your like community. If it's an Ifa community that you're looking for, there are plenty online. There are plenty online. One of the most amazing things that I've truly come to appreciate is the concept of the secondarine temples. These are temples that their Oluo is Chief Popola, and the other Oluos that are leading these temples around the country give messages, they give teachings, they offer support. Uh, on the web and in person in different parts of the world. It's absolutely amazing, right? This is how we want Ifa to grow. We want people to have hope and know that they have a community of like-minded individuals near them, right? That's one of the goals we're trying to have here in Miami, is to develop the Okanran Sode Temple name for people to know that they have like-minded people here. And Miami is a hub. We know that Miami is a hub for Ifa people. It's a hub for Santeria, all the many different African traditional religions. So find like-minded people. That will help you maintain hope. That's what's been important for me. So I want you all to think about that. So let us go to one more story. Let us go to one more story. This comes from the Odu of Ogbe Irosun. Ogbe Irosun. Alu Kin Rin Jin Gini. He was the Awo who cast Ifa for Ogbe, who woke up early in the morning, but had no money to spend. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. Wealth is coming soon. Alu Kini Ring Jing Ring Jini. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. A spouse is coming soon. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. Children are coming soon. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. Property is coming soon. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. Horses are coming soon. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. All good things of life are coming soon. Ogbe, please do not fall asleep. Travelers to Ipo and Ofa, join us in the midst of joy. Come and perceive all array of life. So here we have a story of a young Babalawo. He was in a place where he was studying and working hard. He was ready to be a priest to help people, yet he wasn't finding his way and people weren't finding him. He was going through quite a bit of struggles. He barely had enough money to get himself food, didn't have enough money for new clothes. He wanted to have a house, but he didn't have a spouse to marry to live in the house with him. So he was at home living with his family. And they were saying, well, he thought to himself, well, why would I ask them to help me build a house if I got nothing to move in? Why didn't I just stay there and I'd save money? He wanted to have children in his life. He wanted it all, right? You'll hear that story a lot in Babalaos, Ifas. The priests of the religion want to be happy, and that happiness comes in the form of having a supporting community, a family, people around them. So he found himself in a place where he goes to the Babalao, his Babalao, to have Ifa casted for him. And he wanted to know what he should do. Should I change my career path? Should I think of something else to do? I know I'm well trained and ready to help people with Ifa, but I just don't know what to do. And the Babalao casted Obero, so he says, Baba, you're ready. You are ready to help people in the world, and your success is so close. But I want you to understand something. What you're doing is at nighttime, when you're asleep, you're sleeping in total darkness. And because of that, when Ajay, which we refer to as the deity of wealth, when Ajay comes to visit you, you're in complete darkness and Ajay can't find you. The Babalao says, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. I have been sleeping in total darkness in my home. And he says, well, when you go home, make sure there's light in your room so Ajay can come and bless you with the wealth that you deserve. Here's the ebo that you must offer. And the young priest offers his ebo. So sometime later, the Babalawo starts to light a room in his nighttime to allow light to come in. As the Babalawo offers the ebo, Eshu Odara finds his way to make it around town. He's whispering to people as he meets. He's moving around. He says, I see you have a problem having a child. I know this great Babalawo. You should go see him. Goes to another. I see you have a problem with your leg. I know this great Babalawo who makes really good medicine. You should go and see him. I see that you're having an issue with your business. You should go and see my friend who's a Babalawo. Come morning time, after Eshu made his rounds, come morning time, the young priest wakes up to find a line of people at his door who are seeking consultation. He was beside himself. He was absolutely beside himself. He got himself up quickly and started to cast Ifa for the people and offer advice from Ifa, and then began to offer ebo for the people. He was so busy that he said to himself, I need to bring on help. And so he took on 2 students of his own to teach so that they can assist him with all the work. The work became so much so after half the year or so that eventually, so many people were coming that he was realizing that his house was inadequate. So he had to get to a bigger space. Sometime after that, he met a young woman who he would then marry. And with that woman, they had a child. They moved into their house together, and they continued to do their work for the people of the town. The young Babalawo became so well known, helping people with business issues, helping people with relationship issues, having people with fertility issues, helping people find spouses, helping so much so that the king of the town noticed how much positive work and change that he brought to the people of the town. The king blessed him with his own horse. So here is a story of success. Here's a story of success. Right? Sometimes we don't realize how close our E-ray is. Sometimes it is far. Listen, it is a year, 2 years, 3 years. It could be out there. Sometimes it could be around the corner. This is one of the reasons why we approach Ifa. This is what makes our practice special. Right? Ifa is not making choices. When the Babalawo went to cast Ifa to find himself, when will his success come? He had already put in the time. He had already chosen his path that he wanted to do. He found himself well-versed and studied in that area. He had already put his faith in Ifa, right? He had hope, but he was still feeling challenged. He then continued to offer the ebo and did everything that he needed to do, right? Now, the next question is, do we believe that after he found his success, he stopped praising and going to Ifa? I just, I had to ask. Right? Of course, he focused on still praising Ifa. It's one of those things for us to always keep in the back of our mind. We don't only want to go to Ifa when things are difficult. We should also go to Ifa when things are good, so that our blessings never stop. They always keep going and keep us supported, right? We will go through so many difficult moments in life, And that's when it's easy to ask for something. But it is also difficult to ask for something when things are amazing. Right? Why would we forget? And it's okay that we forget. But we should try to remember. Right? We always want the support of Ifa and the deities in our life. So let us bring this all together. Understanding the pathway to success. Understanding the pathway to success. It begins with us. It begins with our Ori. It begins with the decisions that we make. That's where it begins. There is no controlling who we are in Ifa. We have the freedom of choice. We have the freedom of choice to offer a bow. We have the freedom of choice to take the messages for guidance. We have the freedom of choice to make the decisions on which path we want to go. Right? We have to understand that. 2, we need to make sure we're being realistic about our goals. And if your goal is difficult, lay the map for yourself so that you can see your own progression. How can I get to this place? What is the route that I'm going to take? Don't tell yourself that you're going to be a great business person without ever setting up a business plan. That should seem obvious, right? So create that plan for yourself. Now that you've decided what you're going to do and you've set up your plan, go to Ifa for guidance and prayers. Right? That will allow you to have help from the deities spiritually understand what you can do to help support what you're doing. Next, have hope that each day will get better on the pathway to your goal. Have hope that each day will get better on the pathway to your goal. I cannot stress that enough. And lastly, once you've reached that goal, continue to sing the praises of Ifa. Continue to ask for the blessings and prayers and continue your prayers so that your success keeps going, keeps manifesting, it keeps developing, right? That is important for all of us. So I hope you got something from today's message. Again, letting you know that this is a pre-recorded message because, again, as I said earlier, I haven't been feeling well. So I'm just on the tail end of it. Now I just have to get my voice to finish the feeling better aspect. So thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Please be sure to reach out to the Okan Ransode Facebook page, the Okan Ransode Instagram page, and we also have an Ifa Temple of Miami website that I would love for you all to check out. Should be updating that soon. I probably will be adding links to the many other temples around the country, around the world, and then links for wonderful drummers and musicians that if you'd like to contact them for any of your festivals or events, there's a lot of amazing people here in Miami. So thank you again for joining us. Aboru aboye, aboshishe oboato.